Hi, today we're going to talk about why is it so hard to declutter clothes. First, I'm going to talk about an Instagram trend that I love that's related. Then I'm going to give some reasons why I think it's so hard to declutter clothing. Then I'm going to talk about some tips to think about as you declutter your wardrobe. That's always the goal. Let's get decluttered. And finally, I'm going to talk a little bit about prevention. The secret is it's shopping. So we're going to touch on that at the end. You'll want to stay on for that. So there's this Instagram trend where, people kind of say why I can't declutter clothing. And then they're trying on all these like very funky specific outfits. And it's like, a full faux silver faux leather jacket, and they're like, maybe I'll go to a costume party and I'll want to be the Tin Man from Wizard of Oz, and then they'll take that off, and then they'll put on like overall and a leather vest and a cowboy hat, and they're like, maybe I'm going to a Sadie Hawkins dance. Do they even have that anymore? Is that a Stranger Things reference now? Anyway, and they just, it continues, and the items are like sillier and sillier, and, we're all laughing together and thinking you're never going to wear that. So there's lots of sort of just in case clothing out there that are in your closets. So I think that that it is very difficult to declutter clothes. And, I just want to recognize that. And I think we should all recognize that for ourselves. Like, hey, it's okay that I'm having a hard time with this. Lots of people have a hard time decluttering clothes, right? Our clothes can be very personal. It's a lot of times it's an expression of our inner selves, right? We are picking out things we like. Hopefully it's things we feel good in. Maybe it gives us a memory of someplace we wore it to. Or maybe it's a little bit of that fantasy self, someplace we want to be going. Maybe I want to be out at fancy date night, so I'm buying clothes that are a little fancier than I would wear around the house. So yeah, it is hard. I've also noticed that everyone has a specific challenge, and maybe it's a couple areas, but people love whatever. So some people love books, and some people love shoes, and some people love purses, and some people love clothing. So it might also just be that that's your passion is clothing, and that might be why you especially are challenged to declutter clothing, whereas maybe you go into a different area of the home and it's like no big thing, nothing at all, get rid of everything. But clothing is challenging. The 80-20 rule, which is the Pareto principle, and that could be applied to a lot of things, but it kind of says we all have wardrobes that where we're not wearing probably 80%, and then 20% you're just wearing over and over again, right? If I came and said, quickly pack a bag, you're leaving the house and you can only bring a bag's worth, you would start throwing in your favorite things, and it's probably the stuff you're wearing most of the time anyway. Not to a wedding, maybe not to like a corporate conference that you go to once every 4 months, but like day to day, you're probably wearing the same things or the same types of things, right? So part of decluttering the clothing, yes, you might have that faux silver jacket and the faux leather pants that you wore once for a costume when you were 25. But the question is, when you start to declutter, that's the stuff you can usually get rid of, right? And there are things you're going to keep for sentimental reasons, and people do. Your wedding dress, certain baby clothes, baptismal outfits. People will keep t-shirts, I have a t-shirt collection of the concerts I went to, or that's a t-shirt from my school growing up, or my college. My child went to that college. People do keep sentimental items that they're not going to wear, but then I would encourage you to move those away and out of your typical wardrobe, right? Now, it's really a sentimental item. It's not really a piece of clothing. You're keeping it because of sentimental reasons. You're not intending to wear it. So I want you to think about wearing your favorites all the time. Like if you love that dress, then wear it. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Go for it. Wear it. And think about the joy and the fun and the beauty of opening your drawer or opening your closet and feeling good and excited to wear anything that you see in front of you. Everything. Everything would be a good choice. Comfortable, feeling confident in your body. That's how you want to feel. That's what clothing should bring to us, right? We should feel good. One of the issues that people have are size challenges. And I'm just going to say that really broadly. I have kids and I was pregnant with them. And so actually with my first child, one of the most difficult parts of being pregnant, I was not very sick. I was like young, feeling great. But it was that I had to get a whole new wardrobe. I had never had to do that before. I mean, you sort of grow over time and your mom, if your mom takes you school shopping and, I got new clothes over time. But I had never had in a period of about 30 days, I needed an entirely new wardrobe. I mean, new, top to bottom. That was so overwhelming. I don't like shopping that much. I don't love shopping. So that was one of the most memorable and difficult parts of pregnancy for me personally. So people have reasons that your weight and your size will fluctuate. And, there are a variety of reasons. And we're all about kindness here on this channel and for you in your life. We're not here to, it doesn't matter why. Maybe you're on medications. Maybe you are, challenges eating, challenges dieting. Who knows? It's okay. Regardless, if you are a person that, and I meet people like this all the time, you're like, I don't want to get rid of my size extra larges because I know, even though I'm not wearing them now, in 6 months or a year or 2 years, I'm going to be wearing them again. And that is reasonable, okay? Like yourself, it's good to be realistic about who you are. And people don't have money to buy a whole new wardrobe. Makes sense. But if you're not wearing it now, I think you should get bins or moving boxes or what have you and package it up and write extra large on the label and move it out of your closet where you're not looking at it every day. That's all. You don't have to get rid of it. That's the kind of stuff that should be in your longer term storage. You can get under bed, little flat storagey things. You could put it in your basement if you have one. You could put it in your attic if you have one. You could put it in the guest bedroom closet if you have one. It doesn't need to be, maybe it's even just in a bin at the bottom of your closet, but it's not hanging on the hangers anymore. Get that stuff out of your sight line. When you open the drawer, if half the drawer is stuff that is not the size that fits you right now, that's ridiculous. You're wasting prime space in your home. You clearly feel you don't have enough space in your home. That's why you're here, right? Get rid of that stuff from that space. It should not be taking up your prime clothing storage space. Get it into long-term storage. So that's what I want to say about size challenges. And that's true. It doesn't matter. Too small, too big, pregnancy, stuff for when I'm not pregnant. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Get it out of there. When you open your closet, when you open your drawers, everything should fit the body you have right now. And that's a challenge. And I heard that on a podcast after I had one of my babies, maybe both. I don't know when it was. But dress the body you have now. And that's hard, right? My body is not the same as before I had kids. It's not the same. And so those jeans that I used to wear, I'm never wearing them again, And if you're not ready to really fully get rid of stuff, again, because you think there's going to be a change, I'm planning to have another kid, or I might have another kid, or I know my weight is going to fluctuate again, or when I go back on that medication, things are going to change. That's fine. But stop looking at it every day, because every day when you look at it, it's a little ping to your brain being like, oh, this is probably one of the most common, need to lose 20 pounds. Like, that's the most negative thing, right? That our inner self is like, And even if we don't consciously think that, we're unconsciously thinking that. We're also adding to the decision you have to make, right? So there's decision fatigue. We get tired from making all the decisions. If you're looking at a drawer of 50 shirts, but already you can only wear 30 of them because the other 20 are the wrong size. Your brain, every time you open the drawer, is like, which of the 50 shirts should I wear? Take those 20 out of there. You don't want to be looking at them. Okay, so that's the size challenges information. Get it out of there. Style challenges. I would just suggest, again, this is all about knowing yourself, right? That's like the journey in life, right? We're born, we don't know who we are, we go through school. What do you want to be when you grow up? What's your favorite subject? We just were doing a kids activity the other day. What's your favorite food? What's your favorite subject? And then some of it changes, right? I didn't like tomatoes as a kid. I had tomatoes this morning on my breakfast sandwich. They were great, right? So it's the journey. Learning about yourself. What style clothes do you wear or do you want to wear? What do you feel comfortable in? What do you feel confident in? What do you feel good in? I can't have anything that's itchy. It doesn't matter how cute it is. I will not wear it. Or I'll be so uncomfortable, like I'll take it off before I even get out of the house. I can't do it. I have some sensory issues going on. Just learn about yourself. What's your style? What do you like to wear? Are you a little dressier? I have a friend, and she was somewhere, and they were saying, oh, the mom clothes, and they meant this, probably a few years ago. So they meant like the yoga pants and like a little t-shirt, and they're like, your mom uniform. And my friend was like, what? And then the other person was like, she doesn't have a mom uniform. Like, her mom uniform is business casual. Like, that's what she's wearing 24/7. And that's just her style. That's who she is, right? So, I've been in closets where people have 50 pairs of yoga pants. She probably has none, or maybe one. And that's fine. That's like who you are. So really recognizing who you are, not like who you think you should be or who fashion thinks you should be, but what do you like? Embracing those things. And then the other thing I wanted to put out there as you're trying to declutter clothes is, if you haven't heard of it, there's a great project. It's called Project 333. This is by Courtney Carver. There's lots of information out there about it, so I'm not going to recreate this. This is Courtney Carver's, and she has a book and a website, and she's wonderful. She has multiple books. But the idea is, it's similar to a capsule wardrobe. The idea is that you have a smaller amount of items, and hopefully they're kind of mix and match a little bit. I feel like I used to see this in magazines all the time, the capsule wardrobe, right? They might be like, here's 5 shirts and 5 pairs of pants and 5 sweaters. And then you can sort of make 40 outfits with, all of it. So the idea of Project 333 is you select carefully and wear 33 items. And this is kind of like your going out wardrobe. It doesn't count your gym clothes as long as you only go to the gym. And it doesn't count your pajamas and your loungewear for around the house. It's like, what would you wear out? Including to work, but including to, meeting a friend for a drink or going to a coffee shop or going to watch your kid's baseball game or all the many things that we all do in our lives. But, and for 3 months, you wear those 33 items. And the reason for that is it's seasonal, right? So then after 3 months, it's probably the next season, and you're kind of reselecting your 33 items. A couple pairs of shoes, maybe a jacket, and it's all seasonal. And she's a minimalist. That's a minimalist number. But the idea is to pull back a little bit and sort of look at, what do I really want to wear this summer? What are the 10 dresses that I'm like so excited to wear? And then wear them, enjoy it. So again, you can look more into that. And then I was going to say how to declutter clothes. There's some advice, and it might be Project 333, but it's like, get a glass of wine, put on some dancing music, get ready. When I first decluttered my clothes, I pulled everything out and put it on my bed, and it's overwhelming, shocking how much I had in my closet. I mean, the hangers are stuffed. You can't even pull things out. It's just, I also like to think about, if you have I was somewhere, I was helping a client, and she said, oh, this, her new beau was moving in, and we were preparing the closet to make room for him. And she said something like, he has 68 pairs of pants. And I was like, that's very specific. And she's like, he counted, right? And it's like, you could wear a new pair of pants every day for a month. That's a lot of pants. Do you actually need that many pants? When are you doing laundry? So just to consider, like, if you have over 30 of anything, like if you have over 30 t-shirts, I mean, people have a lot of t-shirts. It's probably on the cusp. But, think about just like, I could wear a clean t-shirt every day for 30 days and not do any laundry. It's sort of mind-boggling when you start to think of it like that. If you get easily overwhelmed, or you're on a tight time limit, or you have kids that are going to interrupt you, I don't recommend pulling everything out. I think, look at a category like, okay, I'm going to work on sweaters today. I'm going to look on shorts today. And maybe you just flip through and look for those things, and you know what the ones they are. Oh, I wish that was in another color. Oh, it's a little too short. Oh, the cuff is kind of weird. Oh, the neckline doesn't look good on me. The arms are too tight. So you want to take out those ones that you know are not a great fit, and that's what you want to start with. I wanted to mention, it's sort of similar, but once you're in maintenance mode, once you have removed all the things you don't want from your closet, what people do is put a donation box or bag in their closet. So literally right next to your dresser or right in the closet. And when you pull that sweater on and you're like, I don't like the way this fits. Whatever. It's too tight. It's too baggy, whatever. Instead of putting it back on the hanger or even throwing it on the floor, you put it directly into the bag or the box. And then when that's full, get it out of the house. So that's sort of, you're trying to make the getting rid of things as easy as keeping them. And that's sort of the strategy for that. The last thing I wanted to touch on was prevention, which I talk about prevention, but really you can declutter, and decluttering is like peeling an onion. So in 6 months or 9 months, you might be able to come back through, or even a year, and remove a little bit more, some things that you thought you might use, and now you've noticed, I didn't really need that. But the other challenge that sometimes people have is, how much are you bringing in? And some of you might know this, right? You might say, I have a shopping challenge or problem, or however you want to say it. And think about, like, what need are you feeling when you're shopping? Is it fun? I mean, of course, you're getting a little dopamine hit. You're getting a little happy chemical. Did you really need that? Or were you bored? Are you lonely? Are you missing your family? I would just question, and this is just for you to think about, are there other reasons that you're shopping beyond just like, I needed a new shirt? And sometimes it takes time for us to be able to be honest with ourselves about that. So that's one thing. The other thing is, our culture encourages shopping, right? We have malls, we have stores, we have $1 million marketing budgets that are really good at getting us to spend our money. And fast fashion is huge, right? So what's the trend today? And if you wear those pants in 6 months, you're out. You're out of style. You're off trend. You need new ones, right? And then I think people are beginning to educate themselves about the environmental impacts of fast fashion. And if you're not aware, I would encourage you to look into this. And again, I can't cover the full extent in this video, but sort of what's the information that you need, or what do you need to make that change so that you're not just bringing in more and more and more clothing. Something that really poignant that I saw for me, a picture is worth 1,000 words, is there's photos and videos of beaches in Ghana, which is a country in Africa, and they're choked with these piles of discarded fashion. So sometimes when we're donating clothing in our wealthy country, these items get packaged up and sent to other countries. And if it's really garbage or just the volume is so significant, here's what I was finding online. Millions of used clothing items arrive weekly. 40%-ish turns into unsellable waste. And it's just piling up in a tiny country. And there's others, I think where it's happening too. But it's wild. And the items are damaged, low quality, right? That's the fast fashion. Like new trend, get it out there. It's not a high quality piece that you're going to wear for the next decade. So it's just really sad. And that's just like a little tiny sliver of the impact that fast fashion has on the planet and the people, the workers who participate in it. And so, I really encourage you to just think about that as you're shopping. Yeah, it's fun, but like, what's really the impact? And maybe that's not the thing that moves you, but clearly you're having too many clothes and you're interested in decluttering them, right? That's why you're here. So just begin to think about what could you do instead? Honestly, sometimes I think of all the money that goes into clothing and the things that I help people declutter, and the money's gone. But what if instead of that, you got a massage or a pedicure? That it actually might cost similar funds or the same funds, and you walk away without a thing, but you feel great. It's self-care. It's a dopamine hit. It's a little social. Maybe you're chatting with the other ladies at the salon. So just, what could you replace that behavior with that is more positive for you and your lifestyle? If it's going beyond, like, I actually needed a shirt or an outfit or something like that. I hope that was helpful, and let me know how it's going as you declutter your clothing. I'd love to hear.